Happy Sunday. Good morning, good afternoon. I am your host, Tony Twist. This is ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. Today, joined by Kenny from the Call Up Podcast out of
I'm
NYC.
back again.
What's good, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. I'm back again. You know, this is like a familiar place. It's turning into like Cheers at one point where like everybody starts to know my name in here. So it feels good, Tony. You know, thank you for having me on once again. You know, I always have a good time when I'm on the show. You know, talk a little bit of wrestling, talk a little bit about whatever else we could talk about, and get the show rolling. What's going on, man?
Absolutely. Has some technical difficulties. Technology, you gotta love it. But
Always.
We're rocking and rolling, and today we have a special guest. We are joined by Savannah Gall. She is a wrestling journalist and contributor to the Wrestling Republic. Check the logo in the back. Pretty cool lion. I got a thing for lions. So anyway, that has nothing to do with wrestling. But hey, thanks again for joining us. We got a little bit of a late start, but we are live on our ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. Check us out on Facebook, ATW All Things Wrestling, on Twitter, on Twitch. We're at your neighbor's house, you're at your grandma's house, wherever you're at. Either check us out live or get us after the show and download us on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you get your podcasts. But let's go ahead and just welcome Savannah to the show. She's happy.
Hello.
Hey, Savannah.
Yes.
Hey, happy
for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
No
How are
problem.
you today?
Doing good. You know, my Cincinnati Bengals are going to the AFC Championship. It just feels weird being on the other side, like on the winning side.
I think this is the first time I'm meeting you, Savannah. But Congratulations to your Bengals for winning. I did not have them in my football pool for them to win, which is it was really heartbreaking for me last night. But what a game you guys had last night! Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you were celebrating all night, going into the early hours of Sunday. But hey, let's talk all things wrestling. Thanks for joining us today. We had a blast when you came on a few months ago. Hey, so we're about 6 days out from the Royal Rumble, Special Rumble on Saturday. But hey, I wanna bring you on and kind of chat about. Well, first of all, you had an open letter to Brandy Rhodes, and you were a very busy lady this week. All kinds of articles coming out in the Wrestling Republic. So I just kind of want to go through them, kind of one by one, kind of tell us what's going on in that world. And I did reach out to Brandy Rhodes and her people, and I did not hear back. She will not be joining us today. Sorry.
Ooh.
Kenny, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
No, I'm here. I'm just looking at something on the screen.
Sorry, Kenny, Brandy Rhodes is not joining us.
No.
So anyway, Savannah, and then I would love to get Kenny's feedback because I know he just read through your letter. I would love to hear about this open letter, kind of what inspired you to do that. I have had a lot of talent on recently. Alex Kane, MLW champion, Icon Lee, a lot of black talent been coming on the show. So I want to hear about your take on that and kind of what inspired you to write that letter to Brandy Rhodes.
So I think it all led down to the Big Swole situation. And just noticing there's not a lot of black female talent on AEW. Yeah, they're on Elevation and Dark, but they're not signed. Like, it's bad that I can count on one hand how many there are. So there's a lot of black female talent on the indies that I've interacted with. So I wanted to showcase them and lift them up and bring it to Brandy's attention. Like, hey, like, you got talent out here, like, utilize them.
Did you get any kind of response, or was it just crickets?
From her, no, but from a lot of the female talent, yes.
Well, yeah, people are still talking about the whole Big Swole incident, and that's still getting some traction.
Oh, yeah.
And now you got Leo Rush, who made a big announcement. He's leaving AEW. He's a free agent. So I don't know. There's definitely some things going on over at AEW. You got Jade Cargill, who is now the TBS champion. I mean, is that just kind of just throwing somebody a bone, or what do you think behind that? I mean, because people on the flip side were saying, about your articles, like, well, they are showcasing black talent more than I would say WWE for sure. They're kind of squashing talent over there, especially on the women's side. But I mean, what do you think about the whole Jade Cargill going over, becoming champ? You think that was just kind of maybe in response to the whole Big Swole thing, or you think that was kind of
No, that was already set in stone for her to win that championship. But in my opinion, I see more black talent on Dark and Elevation than I do on Dynamite.
Yeah, that is true. Like you definitely see them too much on Elevation and Dark, and the whole concept of Elevation and Dark was like a stepping stone. Like show what you could bring to the table, and then get a spot on Dynamite or on Rampage. And a lot of these guys and girls that show up to these shows, like they put themselves out there, and you're like, man, why aren't you on a Rampage or Dynamite? And that is a good question. Like after I read your letter, I said, man, yeah, you're right. Because as I was reading your letter, I was thinking of so many different talent in the indies that I've seen that I'm like, you should already be showcased either on NXT or AEW or even WWE, main roster talent. Like you have that ability, you have that talent. And it's just, it is sad that you really don't see them as much as you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, the Renegade Twins have been on quite a few times. I know they're Thunder Rosa's girls. Sahara 7, Renee Michelle, they've been on there a couple of times. They've also been on NWA. So, I mean, they're getting the spotlight, but it's like I said, they're not signing anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to like just people of color, period, there was a lot of there's still negative backlash on Jade Cargill saying, she can't wrestle and, and this and that. It's like, if she was white, she wouldn't be getting that negative feedback. Right?
Correct.
In my opinion. What do you think about that, Kenny?
I mean, yes, Jade Cargill does need work, but that's going to happen over time, especially with a newer talent, where you're going to have like those bumps in the road. Everyone's gone through it. Cody's gone through it. Jericho's gone through it. We've all seen them botch 1,000 moves throughout their career. Eddie Guerrero's gone through it. All the legends have gone through it. I just feel like, I guess now the way wrestling fans are now, they're just a little too harsh on talent nowadays, So that's when you see a certain talent, when they're like on Twitter and they deactivate their Twitter, they're quick to like say that they're crybabies. And it's no, because guess what? If I see you in real life and I go to your job or whatever it is that you do, say you're a computer programmer and something happens to my computer and I'm reaming you a new one, you're going to feel some type of way. And you're either going to ignore me, you're going to you're not going to return my phone calls, emails. Yeah, because you're bothered by it. And these people, a lot of fans have to realize that talent are people at the end of the day. Yes, they're here to entertain us. Yes, that's their job. But at the same time, these people still have feelings. These people are still, learning as they're going along, and I think that's what a lot of people are trying to like, they have that disconnect that's off. It's like the talent shouldn't have feelings at all. They should be at 100% all the time. Like, you don't know what these people are going through. Look at a prime example. Look at Ricochet, right? When his mom's house burned down, he had to go out there and defend his U.S. title. And do you think he was good at 100%? No. But the fans don't care about that. The fans only care about one thing only, and that's just making sure that they are entertained 24/7.
And then I just want to add too, so as far as the whole Big Swole thing, there has been, Leo Rush, Sean Dean, Hobbs have spoken out, but it's to the line of them dismissing her feelings, and it's like, oh, well, nothing has happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing that inspired me to do the open letter as well.
Yeah, because I'm sorry. Go,
no,
Tony.
go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, because they seen that it's more like, well, it's not happening to me, so like, why do I really care? But let me just speak on something in case my fans say anything until it happens to you. Like, at least I could give credit to Leo Rush when he says like, hey, you need to apologize, and like now he's in the situation where he's saying to himself, like, you know what, I'm not going to resign. And when you saw that, everybody was just like, okay, so he's not going to resign to AEW. Something has to be going on. And that's been the talk since he made that post. And now everybody's just like a ticking time bomb waiting for it to go over, because we haven't heard anything from Tony Khan at all. And it's more like, are you going to wait until after Valentine's Day to say like your piece? Like maybe, Leo Rush was difficult to work with, which happens to a lot of talent of color at the end. Like you notice that a lot when these people are getting released. The first thing they either come out and say was they didn't have the talent that we were looking for, or they were difficult to work with. So one of these two is going to come out in February, and I'm really hoping that none of these come out, but I know one of them is eventually going to come out.
And also the name. So at Tony's response to Swole, the people he named are biracial. So, it really didn't help his argument at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, he's pretty. I think his responses previously were pretty tone deaf. It was like the equivalent of like, white people saying, some of my best friends are black.
Oh, I love those.
But yeah, I had we had Alex Kane on a while back, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he was pretty outspoken. And the conversation, he was fired up. He he definitely came in the defense of Big Swole. Alex Kane had something on his Instagram. He's like, this year, 2022, it's like wrestling more black talent, like really getting more black talent out there, because you got guys like Moose and Alex Kane and just tons of wrestlers out there that are just trying to get seen. And when AEW and WWE is kind of notorious for kind of squashing people of color, not just black talent, but just people of color, period. I mean, look what, Bianca Belair, they shot her to the moon and then they squashed her in about 2 seconds. So like, what do we need to do as fans to try to make it known? But then you have really vocal fans that are just making shit known with just being ignorant. You know what I mean? Like people talking shit on Jade Cargill and other wrestlers. It's like fans seem, wrestling fans are always been crazy and rowdy and, obnoxious, but it feels like fans nowadays feel like they're more in it with the wrestlers than ever before, like a little too up close and personal. You had like this week, I guess you could have your opinion on it, but the fan that yelled something at John Moxley, and then, Moxley got that fan thrown out because he's like, get this drunk ass out of here, or whatever the hell, whatever he said about Moxley. So it's like, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but, wrestling fans have always been kind of outrageous, period. But when we start dragging people over their race and shit, I mean, that's just like, it's just straight, it just shows that we got a long way to go, you know what I mean? And as a society.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely hit the nail on the head when it comes to a lot of the things that go on nowadays, in wrestling. But the one thing that as wrestling fans, or especially as people, like wrestling fans of people of color, is it's like we have the power that we can do something about it. You know what I mean? The more of us that actually speak up about these things, it's the stronger we'll get. One voice can't really be heard, but if 1,000 voices are screaming this, then it's gonna give you some type of attention, and we have to start using like our social platforms to get our voices heard. Twitter is like one of the busiest, social platforms that you could think of, where they really don't censor you as much as say like Facebook or Instagram. If you notice, like when you try to say certain things on Facebook and Instagram, they automatically block you or they just take down your page. But like on Twitter, you can like speak your mind, as much as you want, and they probably won't say anything unless somebody reports you. But if you're sitting there being vocal and saying like, I want somebody like I said some like last week, like Lee Moriarty, like I think he's an amazing talent. He's done great work. I haven't really seen him do that much on AEW. I would love to see him, succeed in AEW this year. And you have to just keep throwing those hashtags out there, like, book Lee Moriarty. Like, where is he? Keep getting his name out there. The more and more his name is trending on Twitter, I guarantee you they're gonna start using him. So whoever talent it is, Bianca, Naomi, Big Swole, Bobby Lashley, Big E, Kofi Kingston, like if we keep hashtagging these people and making them trending more, I have that feeling and that belief that they will start getting the push that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of brings me to the next thing, Savannah. You had the article about the Acclaim being, deserving to be tag champs. I mean, so you have openly gay and, people of color. Are we going to see that? Is the Acclaim, are they going to be tag champs this year?
Oh yeah, it's definitely their time. Their winning record shows it right there, and it's not. I'm not saying that because they're my favorite tag team. It's facts. Like you can see that, and especially with their last match they did with Darby and Allin. It's definitely their time, and they're the right tag team to get the titles and elevate the company even more. Especially, with Max Caster having being a rapper and everything that Anthony Bowens is doing on the outside. And I'm speaking from like a public relations marketing sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely talented. And then them being, having the belts, I mean, it definitely does elevate tag team wrestling, period.
Oh, yeah.
Not just AEW, but just tag team wrestling, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not like one dimensioned. You know what I mean? Like I've seen them wrestle different people and like change up their style every single time that they wrestle. And I think like the only really thing that like they never change is like their entrance. Even after Max Caster got in trouble for saying his rap, on Dark, he came back when they did All Out Chicago. And he was finally back, and he tried to do like they made fun of him getting in trouble, and he still came out and like performed like he never left, and I don't know, like Savannah said, like this for the Acclaim to get the titles is definitely time for them to get it. They have an impressive record so far, and like they're marketable. Like you can't tell me that you can't use the Acclaim, in any sense. TMZ, ESPN, all
Max
love.
Is already on. Max is already on TMZ.
Yeah,
Sports.
they already love. They love him already. They already use him. Anthony Bowen, he does like a lot for the LGBTQ community already, and he's a good actor. Like if you ever seen him act, he's really good. So like these two are good. If you don't do something with them in AEW, I guarantee you they're gonna do something outside of AEW that's gonna be way bigger, and you're gonna miss the opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean the guys are definitely talented. I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and kind of talk to you guys, get your take on the whole Jon Moxley thing. I think we talked about it on Toe Show. We talked about it a little bit. Bully Ray had come out and said some stupid shit about Jon Moxley, and now he's just getting buried all over the internet. Saying that this guy needs to apologize. Jon Moxley, I mean, he looked great when he came out to the ring on Dynamite. What was your guys' take on that? You guys think Jon Moxley's getting the title back in AEW?
Yeah, but not right now. I think him easing back in slowly is the best way to go, and especially I guess they're doing a build up with him and Bryan Danielson.
That's what it looks like. It looks like they're definitely doing something for that. That's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
I think AEW is kind of I don't know what your guys' opinions are, but I think it seems like it's gotten off track a little bit. A lot of their stories are kind of, I don't know, like they almost, the issue I think I have with the product is they don't know how to transition into different, different storylines between like new people, like to keep things fresh. Like Hangman Page is the champ, but like I don't know. To me, the guy is interesting as like as a dead plant. I don't know. Like I think AEW, they put on a great wrestling product, but as far as telling stories and building up those storylines, the MJF and CM Punk, I think it's kind of lost a lot of steam for me. What do you guys think about AEW product as a whole when it comes to actually telling stories and transitioning into keeping things fresh?
They did it in the beginning, but even like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Excuse me, it kind of lost its steam a little bit. And it's just also because they keep bringing like new talent in, and they're not utilizing them. So they're doing. I feel like they're doing more signing and not just to say that they have these people signed to the company.
Oh yeah, it's like they're doing the Triple H effect. Remember when NXT started to rebrand themselves, and they came out with Takeover, and all of a sudden we started seeing like all these big indie guys showing up at a Takeover or showing up at different NXT tapings and stuff. And we was like, okay, like this is a great class. Like you have this person and this person, and this person, and then you really didn't use them too much. They kind of picked and choose who they would use. And I think that's where AEW is right now. Like, they're signing all these people because they're like the hot company to deal with right now. They don't know what to do with them. They're getting more and more opportunities now. And they have to maybe get away from like that indie feel of just giving you straight matches as the shows goes on and start giving you storylines, Like Tony needs to maybe back away a little bit because he's like the main person that is giving you all these stories. Like he's booking these matches the way he wants to, and maybe start hiring some of these writers now. Now you have to go out there like the way WWE does and start picking these writers from the entertainment field, and saying stuff like, can you bring me drama? Can you bring me comedy? Can you bring me a little bit of both? And get these storylines together where like, okay, Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page, you had a great match, you had a great little storyline, but what is next for Hangman? He's doing something now with Lance Archer that should have been done way better than what it was in the beginning. Like the beginning of this feud right now made absolutely no sense. Like Lance Archer was always going after one guy. All of a sudden, he turns his attention to Hangman, and he's working with the same guy that was pissing him off, and we don't even know what that's building. So, like, what happens to Jake? Is Jake just there? Are you going to turn your back on Jake? Are you pushing him to the side? Like, all we seen him was him and Dan Lambert together, and like that was it. Like, there was no story behind it, and the commentators are sitting there asking these questions like, "Oh, is Jake and Dan Lambert working together?" Like, no, this is something that should be talked about backstage. This is something that should be talked about maybe on Dark and Elevation, so that it gets you those people on YouTube to like transition over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Well, Savannah, are you checking out any shows live coming up? I'm
trying to go to Grapple We Trust in DC. I plan on going to a few shows in Jersey for the next couple of months. So I'm definitely trying to keep busy and start showing up to these live indie shows.
Kenny's all over the map. He'll probably meet you in Jersey.
Yeah, you let me know. You let me know a good Jersey show. I'm definitely will be there.
Yeah, it's probably either JCW or Pro Wrestling Magic.
Okay. Definitely, I'll definitely check it out.
Well, hey Savannah, we appreciate you coming on and joining us today. Let my audience know where we can find you: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Definitely find me all over Twitter, Savannah RG513. I'm always on Instagram and my Facebook. Yeah.
Well, we thank you for coming on. I love reading all your articles. You're definitely putting out some good stuff. So keep them coming. And thank you again for joining us. Go Bengals.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are they winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I'm hoping it's the Bengals versus the Bucks.
Oh, okay. There you go. They take out Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks again for joining us, Savannah, and you have yourself a great Sunday, and we'll chat again soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Kenny.
Hey, what's going on? I feel like I need to change this. I'm so sorry. Like,
oh no, it's all right.
I was looking at Savannah, but I was like, it felt like I looked at like I was probably like sleeping because the way my eyes. Oh. There you go. That's a whole lot better. Jesus Christ.
No. I thought it was cool. But yeah, no, that was good. Man, I reached out to Brandy Rhodes, and then I reached out to her PR person.
Right.
I was like, hey.
Yeah, it's so hard to get these people. It's so hard to get these people on here. At times. Just AEW talent in a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that would have been cool though. We would have Brandy Rhodes come on. I was gonna surprise her, be like, "Hey, we got Brandy Rhodes coming."
Yeah. Hey, listen, that would be good. But man, listen, one day this, you can't just try and tackle a subject in one day. You take many days to try and do it. We could always revisit this, in another couple of months and say to ourselves, like, hey, remember that conversation we had back in January?
Right.
We could talk about this again. I guarantee there's going to be a million other topics that's going to come up after that, that we can add on to it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm jealous, man, because you're going to tell us about the show you're going to tonight.
Going to the GCW show, The World on GCW is over at the Hammerstein Ballroom here in New York City. Super excited. It's a stacked card. You have Effie versus Jeff Jarrett. You're going to have Joey Janela versus Matt Cardona. Homicide versus John Moxley. Supposedly Nick Gage is not going to be there tonight, but I have a feeling he will. So, it's the first. This is their first time at the Hammerstein Ballroom. It's a really big opportunity for them. Right. They're sold out. They've been sold out since the day that tickets went on sale. Like literally, the tickets went on sale one day. I bought my ticket. I looked the next day. They said there were 6 tickets left on Twitter, and all of a sudden, I guess 6 people was just like, "Oh, I'm taking them." Yeah. They took them, and they've been sold out ever since. This is like the hottest show that's going to happen right now in New York City for this year, and I can't wait.
That's exciting, man. Take pictures, shit. I'll be
definitely.
Where are you sitting at?
I am sitting on the floor. I'm maybe 6 rows away from ringside.
What do those cost you?
And you know what? Surprisingly enough, it was only $100.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be on Fight TV, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to broadcast this. I think they're going to do some stuff on YouTube. So their their kickoff show is going to be on YouTube, and then they'll transition over to Fight, where you can watch it there. And I don't think it's that much money. I think it was like $15 or $20 or something like that to watch the pay-per-view. Yeah, it's either around that or maybe $35. Either way, because I know certain shows. I know Terminus last weekend was around $15-$17 to watch it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a good pay-per-view too. I don't know if you caught that one.
No, I didn't, man. I don't catch a lot of the indie show on the pay-per-view. I'm so damn busy. I try to really sit for the big ones.
Right.
I'm excited about the Rumble coming up next week. I want to because maybe we could do a super show or something next Saturday. I don't know what we got going on for the Rumble. You having a party? Right. What are you doing?
Well, we was talking about maybe having the in-laws over to watch the pay-per-view. I'm not too sure if that's still going to happen. I know I'm still going to watch the Rumble. As far as like just having people over, I'm not too sure because you can't always plan everything now, especially with COVID. You never know what will happen next. But yeah, I mean, I'm like super excited for the Royal Rumble itself. I'm wondering who they're gonna bring as surprises because we already know from the women's side a couple of surprises from the women's side, but we don't know about the men. There's been a lot of rumors that Moose wants to get involved. I don't really think that's going to happen, but I think somebody from another company, maybe New Japan, fingers crossed, somebody from New Japan shows up. I gotta
be honest with you though, like in my opinion, I think like some men that may show up from like other organizations, I think only if they've been in WWE before, I think it doesn't really go over well. So like if Moose shows up, the WWE Universe crowd, are they really going to know who he is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's been hyping himself up online. So if you didn't know who Moose was by now, I think all his tweets made people think like, okay, maybe like, who is this guy? Let me check him out a little bit. And especially with the whole Mickie James thing, you kind of wondering like, who else from Impact may show up? So they kind of like maybe went through their roster and said to themselves like, let me check out who's on here that may show up at the Rumble besides her.
So who's your prediction to go? Who's going to win on the women's side and on the men's side? Who are you calling?
I say for the men's side, I'm always going with Big E. I think he's going to end up being that guy to win the Rumble and face Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley at Mania. And then for the women, I have to give it to Liv Morgan. I think they're still trying to push her. She's starting to get that John Cena, Roman Reigns effect where like you're constantly going to keep throwing her on TV and we're going to constantly keep seeing her. And she's going to be the one to win the Royal Rumble. I think she's going to end up maybe eliminating Charlotte. And she's going to have a really big spot that's going to like push her over to be a winner for this match.
So you don't think we'll see maybe Bayley show up in the women's Rumble? Bayley wins it, or maybe Sasha Banks. She's been like injuries, Sasha show up, he wins it. I mean, I'm picking Bayley to win it. I think she's going to show up, and I think she's going to end up winning the Rumble. That's just my thoughts. But I don't necessarily disagree with you about the whole Liv Morgan thing.
Right. I mean, if you do get Bayley to come in, like I would probably have her at number 30, just because like you want to have that wow factor in there, like to see who's the last person. And then if she is the person to come back for the Royal Rumble, like she has to win. Like you can't just have Bayley on there and be a big surprise and then she loses. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think Sasha's gonna come back. She's still on injury. They said that she was going to miss the Rumble anyway, but she will be back for WrestleMania. So if she does go to, the Rumble, it may be just like maybe like a backstage thing for
her. Yeah, possibly. I don't know, man. I'm excited. This is like the most excited I've been for the Rumble in a long time. I would say the Rumble is definitely my favorite.
Right.
Next to WrestleMania. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait till next Saturday.
Yeah, the Rumble always brings people together, like, as far as like having like that surprise factor, because that's what everybody wants. They want to be surprised. They kind of wonder who is going to show up, and if you do show up, or how long are you going to stay? I think we had Carlito one year come to the Rumble and everybody was so surprised. And then he stood maybe for like a couple of Raws and then left.
Yeah. On SmackDown this last Friday, Jeff Jarrett showed up. WWE, I think they're pulling out all the stops for.
Oh, they got to. They're really thin on talent that they can use without really trying to build them up through in the next couple of weeks or next couple of days. So they got to do something. So of course they're going to bring back a lot of the older talent. So that's why we have Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice.
Oh, that's a match I'm definitely not looking forward to.
Yeah, that's like when I knew that was gonna happen the moment Beth Phoenix said that she was leaving commentary for NXT. I said, she was like, "Oh, I want to spend more time with my kids." Okay, that's great. but all of a sudden now you're literally doing a segment on Raw to, hype up your husband and hype up the Miz and Maurice. You know what I mean? So like, I knew that was going to come, and it was just like a matter of time before we end up seeing her on Raw. And then, we got our wish.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just. I hope that kicks off the Rumble. It's like the first match. Like, I'm grilling, and I'm not necessarily paying attention to the show yet, and that's the first one.
Yes.
Right. But hey, man, I know we don't have you for too much longer today.
Yes.
Tell us where we can find you. I know you got shows coming up. You do your Monday Raw watch along, and tell all my audience out there, where can we find Kenny from the Call Up Podcast?
So if you want to get a hold of me, like always, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch me on Facebook here all the time. I'm always answering questions for anybody. If you want to, every Monday, me and Toe and Show on occasions when he comes, and whoever else wants to pop in on Mondays, we do the Monday Night Raw watch-alongs, which is really fun. We interact with everybody that's there. We make you feel a part of the show. We sit there for 3 hours and goof on Monday Night Raw, whether it's good or bad. We have a little bit of surprises coming into the new year since we started doing this a lot more. So you guys tune in on Mondays and see about that one. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I have conversations with Kenny where I sit down with different people from different places, as far as like AEW, WWE, the indies, and we get to know different people, throughout the entertainment industry. This week I have
you got a big guest coming up this week, right?
So this week I have Joey Silva. He is out of Ohio. He's a really good indie wrestler that's been around AEW for a good while. He has a really cool gimmick where he calls himself like the Candyman. So you have to check that out. I think he's really good. And then the following week after that, I'm changing things around a little bit. I don't have a wrestler per se, but I have a comedian coming on. Her name is Chanel Ali out of Philadelphia. She's like super talented and so funny. So I can't wait for you guys to like hear her story and hear why she got into to stand up.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, so you got some big stuff coming up.
Definitely.
If you're down next Saturday, I don't know if you want to maybe do an hour before the show or Rumble. Maybe we
definitely
shoot the shit and talk about the Rumble, give some predictions, talk about what we want to see, what we don't want to see.
Definitely let me know. Matter of fact, and I'm gonna say it on here so people can see it and they be like, you know what? I have to hold Tony to this. Wednesday, you need to come on so we could do the Royal Rumble prediction show on the Call Up on Wednesday at 7:00.
7:00 Eastern, right?
Yes, my time. Mm-hmm.
I'm there, man. I'll be on.
There you go. Gotta put you on the spot right here. And it holds myself accountable too, because now people are gonna be like, Kenny said 7.
Right.
I don't see anything. What is going on? So it holds us both at accountability right now.
Absolutely. Hey, so you got a show coming up. I think that you're jumping on here soon. What show are you doing? Can we off of the air here? Where can we find you at?
So I don't know if it's gonna be live or it's gonna be taped. But I'm going to jump on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast over there for bodyslam.net. Okay. They're actually doing a Royal Rumble prediction show as well. So they asked me to jump on. So I was happy enough to say yes because I was free. And I am going to go over there now and talk more wrestling over there. Right. And then get ready for the GCW show later tonight.
I cannot wait to see all your posts, man.
Yes, I'm going to be doing like results and all that stuff. So people who don't want to watch fight, definitely find me on Twitter, and you can get like all your updates there. I'm going to take pictures and videos and post it on Twitter or on my Instagram too, on my stories. So if you're not from New York and you want to see how the subway system is, I'll definitely be on the subway this time around. I'm not trying to drive into Manhattan. It is the worst.
Right? No, I've been to New York a few times, man. I couldn't imagine that. Well, we're excited. We're on the road to WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season. The Royal Rumble next Saturday. Maybe we'll do a super show with some of us fellow wrestling podcasters.
Hey.
We'll have some drinks and we'll get ready for the Rumble next Saturday. But Kenny from the Call Up Podcast, man, I appreciate you being on today.
Thank you.
We're going to cut our show a little short today. We got started a little late, but it's all good. We had a great guest, Savannah Gall, from the contributor for the Wrestling Republic. Thank you, Savannah, so much for coming on today. And I'm Tony Twist. I'm your host, ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. Happy Sunday. Go watch some football, eat some good food, and if you can, catch the GCW show tonight, and keep a lookout for Kenny. He's going to be on the floor.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, hit my music, and we out.